Hi guys, I assume you're here because your door is stuck. And when I say stuck, I mean really stuck. It won't open from the inside, it won't open from the outside. You've tried kicking it, ramming it with your shoulder. Maybe you've already tried some of the videos, some of the techniques, and your door is stuck. Okay, here's a technique that I use to unstick my door, and it may work for you. And the key is if you have this kind of lock. What I'm pointing to is the door jamb of the vehicle, and this one has a post, and then in a minute I'm going to show you the door has sort of a claw mechanism. And this is very common on millions of vehicles, especially American-made vehicles from the 50s, 60s to present day. So if your vehicle has this kind of a post, this will work for you. If it doesn't, then you might want to stop here. So let me show you the other side, and this is obviously the side that opens. The driver's side on mine is stuck. I can't get in it. I can't remove anything because everything's designed so the door has to be open before you can take pieces off. So I would suggest working on the side that is that you can open. And so I'm just going to turn around the camera so you can see the door side. Okay, I'm not sure that you'll be able to see that because it's sort of black on black, but this is the part of the door. When it closes, it goes like this. Click, that's the first click, and that post will be in here, and then it clicks a second time and really locks a death grip on that post. This design has not changed in 50 years really, because it works and it's safe. In the old days, before my rear time, doors used to fly open. I've heard about it. My dad was in a bad accident. They were going down the road, they hit a pothole, the door flew open, and he flew out. So you don't want that happening, so you have this very secure latch that's not going to open by kicking it or by anything like that. It has to be released. Now, the other videos showed you how to do it by manipulating the cable, by taking one of the little hooks and manipulating the mechanism. I assume you've tried all that and you're still stuck. So here's what the next step is. Okay, if you notice on this vehicle, yours might not be identical, but it should be similar. There's a hole that goes all the way through. And the reason there's a hole is to adjust the door. When you're inside the door, you can actually see the end of that post, and you can stick a wrench through and loosen it, have someone push the door, tighten it, and it's adjusted perfectly. It saves a lot of trial and error. Now, that is not big enough for the bolt to come all the way out, so what I'm going to show you how to do is how to enlarge that hole so you can actually remove that post from the inside of the door, and voila, your door will open. Okay, again, I'm working on the side that is able to open, and I'm going to show you how to take this off. What I've got is on mine it's a number 47 Torx wrench. Yours might be different. It could be a Phillips, it could be another size Torx, but this post is basically, it screws into the door frame. Now, I already sprayed it with some WD-40 and liquid wrench, but really that wasn't necessary. It wasn't really stuck. It came off very easily, and as you can see, it's not stuck at all. And you notice when it's loose, it sort of flops around. Okay, the reason for that is so you can adjust it. It might be a good time to adjust your doors if they're kind of sagged and you have to kind of slam it hard for it to go up. You can adjust this post a little bit and solve that problem. So I'm going to go ahead and take this all the way out. Okay, now you can see what we're working with. It's basically a screw, and it's a good idea to really look at your side that will open. I took my door panel off so I could you know, see exactly what's in there, because it's so much easier to get to. This is showing you the Torx head, and if you have one of those holes, you'll be able to actually see that from the inside of the door, and you can put in your tool and turn it from inside the door. The problem is it's not big enough for the whole thing to come out. And so what we need to do is just enlarge that hole so from inside the door you can take this all the way out. Okay, the question came up is, what if your locking mechanism doesn't have that little round hole all the way through? And the answer is it doesn't really matter, because we're going to make our own hole, a hole about that size that's big enough for this whole thing to come out. The advantage of having the hole is you know exactly where your bolt is, which will be behind. You don't have to guess. But if there is no hole, you can take a small bit, 1/8 inch or smaller, and make some exploratory holes till you find out exactly where your bolt is. And then after that, what I did, just for illustration, I took the other bolt, this is from the passenger side, and I just drew a circle around. If you're not sure where the bolt is, you may want to go just a little bigger on your holes, and you can you know, you don't have to be fancy with this. This is not going to be seen. It's inside the door. You can use your drill, and if you sort of move it left and right, a lot of times it doesn't slide around. Okay, in my case it is sliding around. This is another tool that I got at Harbor Freight. It's called an automatic center punch. Once I got it, I'm like, wow, I should have gotten that before. You know, how did I do without it? What it is, it's a punch, but it's got a spring. So when you put it down and you push, you heard the click, it makes a little dimple in the metal. And then your drill bit does not slide around, you know, it just drills. So what I'm going to do is make holes about every 1/4 inch. Okay, now with those little dimples, I don't know if you can see the dimples, but you can feel them pretty well. The drilling will be so much easier. Now I realize you're going to be in tight quarters inside the door, so if you don't want to buy the center punch, you can just wing it. You can use a nail, preferably a hardened nail. Okay, so you can see I've got an outline of that hole. And then what I do next, I just move up to a slightly larger bit and I drill them all again. And then a slightly larger bit and I drill them again. And you could just start with a big bit, but it's going to make a really ragged hole. This method makes a fairly neat hole, and I'm going to jump ahead and show you what it's going to look like. Okay, now I'm up to a 3/16, and as you can see, it's almost loose, and I could probably work with the needle nose pliers and remove it the rest of the way. I'm going to go ahead and drill one size bigger just to make it a little easier. Okay, now here's our hole. It's not beautiful, but it doesn't have to be. And it's more than big enough. Even if I was off a little, off a lot, it's still going to be big enough for this bolt to come out. Okay, so now let's try it on the vehicle and see if it works. Okay, came out, the door came open, and actually I've already finished the job, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Here's the post, and as you can see, the drill chewed up the edges just a little bit, but no harm done. Really, you just got to be careful on the part where your Torx bit goes in. Try to avoid that. You don't want to damage that, or you might have trouble getting it out. Bolt came out, door came open, great news. Now, it was still not functioning, and I had a little problem in that I could no longer lock the door. Without that post, the door just swings freely in and out, and it does not lock. So what I did for the first night, well, first I sprayed everything with liquid wrench, just saturated it with liquid wrench, and then I shut the door, put the pin back, which I was a little loath to do, but I put it back, turned it in a few threads, and then the door was locked. Came back the next day and started fiddling with it, and by fiddling, let me show you what I mean. And it was clicked just on the first click. Okay, so it is not, obviously not going to open. You can kick it, whatever you want to do. It's not going to open. And so I started, spraying more WD-40, liquid wrench, and just taking pliers and moving these. And actually, the top one was open. Okay, it didn't click like. Okay, it was sort of like that. It was sort of like one was stuck, and the other was not stuck. And so I just kept moving it with the pliers and with my hands, taking the top one in and out, and eventually the bottom one followed suit, and they both opened up. Okay, so anyway, I had success. Worst case is you take these 3 screws out and you get a new lock mechanism. But that's a bit of work. You not only have to take these screws out, you have to disconnect it from the control rods. And so if you can get your old lock to work, that's so much better. So in any case, I've got mine reassembled, and here's what it sounds like. It's a nice sound, and it took a lot of work to get there, but as you can see, works perfectly inside and out. And while I was at it, I readjusted the post so it shuts very well. So anyway, good luck, and I hope this helps. Not the greatest video. Apologize for the video quality, but I didn't see any video on anywhere on YouTube like this, so I thought I should put it out there and maybe it will help. Thank you and God bless you.